Well, hello, my friends out there, and welcome to the Warner Brothers Discovery Podcast. Today we have a story from Joseph M. Singer. The article describes the potential negative impact of a proposed merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers. The author argues that the merger would create a company with too much debt, making it difficult to invest in films and television. The author also argues that the merger would result in fewer films being greenlit, fewer creative risks being taken, and fewer opportunities for emerging talent. Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery deal endangers Hollywood's fragile ecosystem. E-Summary, a Slate film financier, takes a cold, hard look at the debt potential job losses and the synergies and argues the impact will be damaging to the industry. The proposed merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery is anti-competitive, will lay off thousands of workers, raise prices, and create a debt-laden behemoth forced to slash costs aggressively to have any hope of servicing that debt. In short, the math doesn't work. For anybody, the combined company would begin life carrying roughly $79 billion in debt while generating only $3 billion in annual free cash flow. The deal is being sold by David Ellison and David Zaslav as a necessary answer to the modern streaming era. More scale, larger libraries, broader distribution, and stronger franchises, as Star Trek and Top Gun meets Game of Thrones, Superman and Harry Potter, but scale only works when it built on a solid financial footing. Scale is this deal will devastate both studios here rather than economies of the scale. The opposite would arguably happen. The merger risks producing a company so burdened by debt that it becomes less able to invest in films, television, streaming, sports output deals, and creative talent other than either company is on its own. The sole mission of this new company will be to service its debt. Hollywood has already spent the last decade chasing consolidation. The results haven't been stellar. When the Walt Disney Company acquired 21st Century Fox in 2019, Disney's leverage rose roughly 2.8 times EBITDA. Lower is better. When Discovery Inc. merged with Warner Media in 2021, leverage climbed to about 4.3 times EBITDA, and both deals were heavily criticized as over-leveraged at the time. This proposed Paramount Warner Brothers combination would begin at approximately 6.5 times EBITDA. That was entirely different level of financial strain. Paramount recently said it plans to lower this in 3 times EBITDA by fiscal 2029, but that seems doubtful given the level of the debt and lack of free cash flow. The timing makes the situation even more concerning. Disney struck its deal when interest rates were low and capital was abundant. Discovery completed its transaction during an era of near-zero treasury yields. Today's environment is markedly different. Borrowing costs are materially higher and credit markets are tighter, and Paramount's debt has already been downgraded by 2 of the 3 major rating agencies. The company has an enormous short-term bridge loan, approximately $49 billion, it will need to be refinanced in approximately 10 months. That Warner Brothers Discovery potentially cutting 10,000 employees itself is a massive number. That's not trimming, that's cutting deep into the operating capacity, nor is it a standard and customary cuts. And job reduction at that level, you're not just lowering costs, you're inevitably reshaping output, slate, size, and how the company functions day to day. Not only is this deal bad for the merging companies, but it creates a broader problem for the industry as a whole. The traditional studio model already faces immense pressure from fragmented audiences, rising production costs, declining television economics, and an increasingly brutal streaming market. In that environment, balance sheet flexibility matters more than ever. Companies need room to invest, experiment, absorb failures, and support long-term creative development. This merger moves in the opposite direction. It would create a company where preserving the capital structure could become more important than investing in the product itself. Fewer films will be greenlit, fewer creative risks will be taken, mid-budget productions will disappear, creative decisions will be replaced with financial calculations designed to maximize short-term cash billion. Now, with preferred pricing caps on the price they pay plus warrants. Warrants provided as a sweetener. Foreign sovereign wealth funds could end up owning approximately 50% of the two combined premier major studios and be the largest equity stakeholder. What we'll see if this deal goes through is a fewer buyers for scripts, fewer films greenlit, less competition for talent, actors, directors, people on the back end, and a single company controlling a deeper library, and two major streaming services, Paramount Plus and HBO Max, can decide whether titles go, how long they stay in theaters, and who else gets access. There is an unforgettable truth in this business that rarely gets said out loud, that the company that controls distribution ultimately controls the market. I've watched more films succeed and fail in the margins of distribution strategy than in development rooms. Green lights matter. Budgets matter, but distribution, the ability to reach audiences at scale on fair and open terms, is the oxygen of this industry. When a single company gains excessive leverage over theatrical booking, cable, carriage, or streaming visibility, the system tilts, and once it tilts, it rarely tilts back. Joseph M. Singer is a former investment banker for the last 30 years. He has been a producer, slate film financer, former studio executive at Universal, and the founder of Elixir Media. He is a managing principal CEO of a company that specializes in M&A. He has contributed as a producer and a financing consultant to the most of the majors, and has negotiated 4 multi-year slate co-financing deals in which Elixir bankrolled 25% of the 33% of the pictures and co-owns the copyright. Singer has been involved in over 120 major studio films. Well, he's got quite the resume. Well, here's our rebuttal. The argument against the Paramount-Warner Brothers Discovery mergers focuses almost entirely on debt, layoffs, and consolidation. Those concerns are real, but what critics often ignore is the bigger picture. Hollywood is already in crisis. The traditional studio system has been under attack for years. From shrinking theatrical attendance, streaming losses, tech competition, fragmented audiences, and changing consumer habits, studios are no longer competing only against each other. They are competing against TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, gaming, AI-generated content, and an audience with shorter attention span than ever before. The reality is that scale may no longer be optional, it may be necessary for survival. Critics point to debt levels, but every major media company today carries significant debt. Disney absorbed Fox, Amazon bought MGM, Comcast bought NBC Universal. The industry has been consolidating because the economics of entertainment have fundamentally changed. What matters is not simply debt. What matters is whether the combined assets create enough long-term value to compete globally. A combined Paramount Plus Warner Brothers Discovery Company would possess one of the greatest libraries in entertainment history. Harry Potter, DC, HBO, Game of Thrones, Superman, Batman, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Top Gun, Yellowstone, South Park, Looney Tunes, Cartoon Network, CNN, TNT Sports, CBS, Nickelodeon, and Paramount Pictures. This is not weakness, this is leverage. The article argues fewer films will be greenlit, but the opposite argument can also be made. Stronger distribution and larger global platform could allow projects to reach audiences that smaller, weaker studios cannot support on their own. The current system is already failing. Mid-budget films, that problem existed before this merger discussion even began. Streaming economics changed the equation years ago. So the truth is that without scale, some studios may not survive at all. Critics also warn that mergers reduce competition, but the entertainment landscape today is far broader than the old big five studios era. Consumers now have endless choices across digital platforms, social media, gaming, podcasts, creators, and global streaming services. Warner Brothers and Paramount are not operating in a protected ecosystem. This is what the truth is. I believe in that, and let me know what your comments are, and subscribe and leave your comments. I'll talk to you tomorrow.